Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 14, day 4. It is April 6th, 2017. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only to support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right. Oof. What a session today. I will confess, range-bound days, not my particular favorite. Doesn't give you the opportunity for a runaway trend as we were talking about in the trading room today, though. There are always ticks to be made. We'll show you some of those more successful opportunities today. Through the charts on the three indices, not much action across the board. On the key futures markets, though, crude pretty much chopping it out today, as well as the gold, yen, and euro. So that's what it was. Chop fest on the AM session and pretty much PM session range bound, but offering us some longer trending setups. As we'll take a look here at the charts. All right, let's start with the screen share from this morning. Price action already off the Globex low. If you remember, guys, yesterday, let's take a look here at the Globex TPO for a second. There was your ES as the shadow trader comments this morning. I post these here with his insight into the market. And basically yesterday, yes, we had a pretty much afternoon sell-off today. And I'm just going to jump right into where we ended up today. As we could see, we were looking possibly price action lifting up to the upside, but also keeping reference that maybe today was just going to be a balanced day. Knowing we had this long trend down, maybe we're just going to repair as we did on the previous session. We repaired this area from the week high from the 30th and the 31st. ES ends up coming out and doing exactly that. This market profile from yesterday with the weak prints down here, single prints, that's where we built up some value today on the ES here. And so we end up having this range-bound day that your strategy either works or you have to adapt to the market on a session like today where you find those pockets of opportunity. We'll show you what one of those could be. Not one of my expertise, but that's why in a trading room you have traders that utilize their strategy in combination with perhaps some of the things I do, and you get yourself a winning setup. So always room to make changes or add things to your trading plan to give you better opportunities in trading situations like today. And again, keep this in mind that many traders like this type of trading, range-bound setting, gives you that feeling like market's not going to run away, because when markets start to run, there's this sense that market action is going to turn back on you. And when runners, a lot of traders a lot of times don't sit in runners and they bail too early. And don't give that opportunity to let it run. But feel safer. Today was a good reinforcement that the market will always turn on you. And today was one of those opportunities. But we'll go ahead and show you why we use these MML levels, or why at least I can have an appreciation for them, but don't use them all the time. And maybe it's time to use them a little bit more. All right, so let's jump into the NQ pre-market. There was the overnight write-off. Just take a look right here. Off the support here, 53.90.75. You remember yesterday's trend all the way down? Well, Globex got a little lift. So if you were an overnight, or actually right there at the midnight session, got the lift off the lows support, 53.90, you were already in a good uptrend here to the upside, where NQ today high, though, was 54.37, which just put us into this range right here. But you can see here, 60 minutes has been just battling here on the weekly VWAP. It's just that type of week, week 14, consolidation week overall. All right, so there was your NQ pre-market. Again, we showed the ES, TPO, same picture here. Weak prints downside here. We're looking at an average daily range up here at 54.34. And guess what, guys? That's it. High today, 54.37, down to a low of 53.90, which was pretty much around the Globex. I apologize. That wasn't the low of the day. We got lower than that. No. Yes, this is the end. No, this is pre-market. I apologize. I'm looking at the pre-market charts here. So average daily range, we were looking up here around 54.34, and 54.37 actually was the high of the day. So coming around actually the weekly VWAP as well. All right, so on the ES here, so again, looking at the numbers this morning, we were looking upside 54.29 to 54.88, so just above the 29 to the next level, 68 is where we ended up today. Downside, we were looking at 53.90, and we got down to a low, a little bit lower than that, but 53.59 and 53.12. Today we ended up around 54.08, so not hitting our downside numbers. All right, ES, we were looking, let's go ahead and take a look at the pre-market. There was our ES chart. We were looking upside all the way up to 23.75. We hit that bell yesterday. Today's high on the ES, 23.61. So just about major support resistance. We were looking upside to about 23.59 to 23.90. Downside 23.36, 23.12, 22.96. And we'll take a look here in the charts as we saw here on the ES, getting down to a low around here, 23.45 today. So just smidgen below that 23.36. We were looking downside to the Globex low, never coming down there. All right, key chart here. Not many to talk about. That's actually the one chart that I want to show you here, guys, today. We'll just jump into the indices here. Again, appreciate the MMLs. We're going to talk about MMLs here today. We can see price action coming all the way down yesterday, and then through the Globex Asian session, finding that support, turning itself around. That's your entry to the upside. And what did I say? NQ upside 54.37. So getting within this range, you got to drop down to the lower time frame to see exactly where that opportunity is. So let's jump into one of the key charts here, which was provided by one of our room members here, knocking it out of the ballpark here, 268 ticks on the NQ. So again, like I said before, range bound, not my favorite type of sessions, as we'll take a look here in a moment at the recap of just exactly what it looked like. But talking about the MMLs, sometimes it's the setting. Again, you have to change it based on a time or range session on the overnight Globex session. But here you look for the opportunities where you use the resistance, you use the major support, you use the downside support to give yourself not only levels or targets, but a commanding way to let your runners win. It doesn't matter whether it's HA bars, Heikin Ashi bars, which you do see here to keep you in the trend, or levels, or combination of, you can put them together to give you an opportune trade. Now, this trade by one of our fellow members who puts out videos, Ed C., again, was not able to be in the room here. He had taken a break, so his stop did run up past his entry. Had he been watching, he said the chart, his entry stop was up here at 54.36. It came within a smidgen of stopping him out, but the fact that price action ran down, came back up, if he had been watching it, mentioned that he would have been stopped out of break even, or he would have just stopped the trade out, but gave him another opportunity as it completely ran back downside to one of the key levels, major support resistance. So let me pull up again. This is a range chart. It's a 5-minute chart, gives you the same picture as you can see here. Overall today, on the MML levels, it was just a major chop fest this morning. Markets range bound ahead of maybe non-farm payrolls number, or just simply doing what we saw on the chart, repairing that low print from yesterday and building up some value there. And so it was a tough go here this morning. Not saying every setup was a winner here, but MML high to low, high to halfway point, back upside. It was the PM session that gave us the better opportunity trend. You could see if you got knocked out in the AM session, just gave it up for the day. It was totally understandable. But then somewhere around the European close. Finally, a little bit smoother trending downside here on the HA bars. There was that move back upside that I just showed you right here as it came back up. Again, that would have been an opportunity for me to just flatten out. Most likely would have taken off half the trade here at major support resistance, or you got one contract off, you let your runner run. Either way, it's a combination of both strategies that would have kept you into at least half the distance. It pulls back up on you, you're out, and then the final move downside, 54.10, which was on numerous charts here. That was the downside support level, both on the 5-minute and the 10-minute chart. So nice move overall. Gives you him a wonderful trade on the move to the downside, topping that great move from yesterday. All right, so they're the key charts. Let's take a look at the NQ. Again, it was a major, like I said, chop fest today, all over the place. We pretty much flattened out. Here we are, open price, close price. You can see it was up, down, HA bars. Just trying to get a move. Again, mentioned in the room this morning, anything that had all green gave you an opportunity to go. So above the cloud in the green, there was a nice move. Above the cloud in the this was not even a setup to even consider. Here, a lot of chop, but it was the PM session that finally offered a little bit of opportunity back to the upside. Here it was weekly VWAP, which actually ended up being the average daily range high for the session on the MMLs. We'll take a look, see if I have a chart there to show you. YM, again, nice move, but ends up finishing flat here in the session. A little bit smoother in that NQ, not as troubling here. Again, little pre-European move up here. A lot of indecision here at the weekly VWAP. There was nice sweet trend upside and then pulls back to finish out chopping in the afternoon session. And if you thought the YM, I believe, I don't know if I showed you no, here it is. Here's the ES. Again, a little bit of a wider gap here from open to close, but again, a little bit smoother on some of these opportunities. Again, MML lines were probably your best opportunity today in this range-bound combination, but again, small pockets, but nothing to really keep you in. Maybe from about the post 20 minutes all the way upside here to the tops was your best move of the day. On the ESs, we found a low down here around 23.45, and that's how we wrapped it up on the range-bound charts here. Let's jump in right to the charts. As we can see, the volume profile versus the time profile. Again, nice balanced profile today. Gives me a good feeling that we actually repaired this trend down from yesterday on both the ES and NQ. So as we head into tomorrow, we are still holding downside from the 3 all-time highs set this week on the NQ, but we're all holding downside from the weekly open on all 3 levels, YM and the ES here. Not making any real all-time highs this week except on the NQ. AD lines, nothing to speak of, especially today, pretty much holding to the upper levels, 1600. NQ really not being able to break that 45. And remember, keep that in mind, 45 to 45 is usually a range-bound day, and that's exactly what we had here today. All right, again, we mentioned across the board, charts, nothing really to mention up above, as the crude, the GC, the yen, and the euro pretty much kept it within the zone. All right, let's jump right into tomorrow's charts. Where do we sit overnight? Let's take a look at the MMLs. We'll start with the ES here. Again, appreciate the fact that the ES ran from the lows overnight, Globex, all the way up. So you're looking at that ES range bound. Remember we said the, let me pull that up here again. Again, there was that low, there was that high. All right, again, that was intraday there. But you're looking at the high, and there it is, the MML levels upside, 15-minute chart. So that gave you a range to exit the trade and then pull off the move to the downside on the major support in the PM session. So still vacillating around that weekly VWAP. Can't get away from it. Both major support on the 60-minute and the 4-hour chart, which ended up being resistance upside. So, where we headed to tomorrow, overnight session might just be a little bit of chop here as we continue into the non-farm payrolls. Watch the downside, 23.43. If we keep it close, it will be 23.51 up to 59. Don't expect much of a breakout here unless some catalyst news comes out in between now and then. So there are your levels, both upside and downside. Watch the lows here, 23.36 which would be at the very lows of the 15-minute chart. Take a look at the YM price action again, still holding underneath that weekly VWAP. We'll see the daily charts. We're doing pretty much the same sideways action, keeping within the MMLs. 15 minutes, watch 703 upside, watch 547 downside. I don't expect much movement, but anything can happen. And looking at the NQ, boy, what a chop fest today it was, but there it is, 15-minute chart. Let me pull up the 15-minute chart with the average daily range high there set on the MML charts. Go ahead and reset this, and we can get a more accurate average daily range. And there you go. See that? Right there. Nice profile today. Big build. But there it is. Today's low. Average daily range high. There it was. 54.34. And popping up above to around that 37. Today's high. So, again, nice target upside. But as we roll to tomorrow, appreciate the 15-minute chart here. Keeping within the resistance and the major support. So, we might just chop there overnight. Anything downside, watch 53.90. As we roll into tomorrow, we'll see where the Globex is and give our levels 15 minutes prior to the market open. So there's your overall levels for overnight. Again, appreciate the 60-minute weekly VWAP holding the line here. Stubborn. All right, daily charts. There it is. NQ upside, still holding above the 50, but and just barely by a smidgen, holding to the 10-period MA. That's your NQ daily. Let's take a look at the YM daily. Frustrating, isn't it? Consolidation, but consolidation leads to a move. So we're either going up or down eventually. What that catalyst will be, I don't know, but it's going to be in either direction. Right now, 50 MA still the upside resistance. So we got to break above that if we're going to find any movement. Otherwise, we move sideways to down. And the daily ES, again, losing a little bit of that movement yesterday, regaining it. 50 MA resistance, so we're just hugging that 50 MA right now as we lead into April. Boy, what a slow April it is. All right, that's the charts, Jedi traders. I don't think I forgot anything. If I do, I'm sure I'll bring it up in the trading room. Otherwise, as we lead into tomorrow, again, a reminder, great combination here. Heads up and shout out to a wonderful trade on the MMLs today, as well as the combination of the HA bars. Again, it's a great strategy to supplement, especially on a range-bound days. My confession is I don't like range-bound days. I like my runners to run. And today is one of those days where you could have either scalped your way through the day or used those MML levels to your advantage. So again, PM session was much better than that AM session. Did not like the AM session at all. All right, so where are we at? Economics-wise, we're headed in. We had jobless claims out today, lower than usual numbers. So good employment numbers this week. ADP employment was up, jobless claims down. We'll have to wait for the non-farm payrolls. That tends to be a mover, and a couple of Fed speakers to roll out the week. All right, that's it. That concludes an insight into the daily trend and key technical momentum of the indices and key futures markets. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My mantra is to really try to keep it simple. Any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only watch what's in front of me and on my charts. And as always, I leave my bias at the door when trading. Hey guys, there's an open invitation. If you have anybody who wants to join us in our community, or if you're interested, of like-minded traders seeking any highest probability setup on any given day, feel free to email me, David at TradingFibs. They may join us any Thursday or Friday to view the live chart setups as they happen in the trading day. So we wrap it up for week 14, day 4. Make sure you check out the pre-market trend there. Week 14, day 5 tomorrow morning, posted about 15 minutes prior to the day's action. We'll see where the Globex headed. Again, I like to monitor the charts in the Globex prior to the midnight open. So if anything comes about, I'll go ahead and tweet that out. Otherwise, I expect just maybe a little bit more sideways action as we head into non-farm payrolls for Friday and to end this week. That's it, guys. Have yourselves a Blue Zone day wherever you may be. Good day, good night, and good trading to you.